So this is totally unrelated from the WWE and AEW stuff that we normally cover, but in a shocking turn of event, the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis has been suspended from the National Wrestling Alliance. Fightful had reported that Nick Aldis had handed in a resignation notice, or I shouldn't even say handed in a resignation notice. He had, let people know that he was, letting his contract expire, which, his contract with NWA expires on January 1st, 2023. And he essentially made notice that he will not be renewing his contract with the NWA. In response to the comments that he made publicly, Billy Corgan, the owner of the NWA, suspended Nick Aldis, and because of that, he will not be appearing at the Hard Times 3 pay-per-view, and he will not be appearing at the Revolution Rumble tapings. There were a lot more reports that began to circulate that stated that the treatment of Mickey James, along with other things, had factored into Nick's decision to not stay with the company. Billy Corgan then went on certain podcasts and made certain comments saying that he's now experiencing the Nick Aldis that many wrestling promoters warned him of, in the sense of like when he doesn't get what he wants, he, does all these different types of things. It's a messy situation overall, but I wanted to know, what do you make of this incident?
Well, I don't particularly, I'm not particularly a fan of Nick Aldis. I don't watch his work. I don't pay attention to him. But just, I guess, in regards of like the situation, I mean, it does sound a little bit shitty. It does sound like it is a little bit shady. I'm not sure again, like what particularly has occurred in the past with him. How he reacts in a situation where he doesn't get what he wants. I don't know what kind of person he is. But I mean, I'd be kind of annoyed too if I just asked for my release and now you're kind of playing games with my contract. I'm not sure if you specified this before we recorded, but is he or is he not getting paid for this? He just has more or less an extension of his time being there, right?
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be a little bit frustrated too because he probably just wants to get out of that box already. But again, I don't know how Nick Aldis is. I don't know if normally when he operates, he doesn't get what he wants and he quits too soon, and maybe people are just infuriated with him because it's just like now you're just being a brat and you're not really trying as hard. But as far as them mistreating Mickey James, that kind of shocks me because isn't Mickey like a not like necessarily a draw, but I mean she's a big name. She's a very notable name. For them
Yeah.
to treat her differently, that's very questionable. Like, in previous situation when it comes to Mickey James, how has she handled previous situations with him? Does she normally like walk out with him? Is that why she's getting mistreatment?
I
She
don't know,
also
to be
cut out, by
honest.
the way. I don't. Hmm?
I hear you for sure, but I
No,
don't
because
know
I
how.
just don't see your picture anymore. Go ahead.
Okay, that's weird. I'm still here, but I don't think that she has like walked out or anything like that. So I've never heard anything
So
bad
why would
from
she get
Mickey's
the?
side.
Yeah, but why would she get the mistreatment? Why would she like catch a stray like that? I understand they're together, but that to me is just very odd because it makes me think that he probably is problematic and that they're just giving him a punishment that I guess maybe in their eyes, like they think that he deserves for maybe just being continuously childish. But
Hmm.
I don't. Do you have more information about him as a person in the past?
So so I don't know what his history is in the past. I don't know like what all this is history is with, different promotions and how he is on his way out. Um Corgan kind of went into detail on Busted Open Radio. Um and essentially I guess the issue more so than anything was like he was publicly blasting the NWA. That was kind of what led to his decision on, suspending him, because, he emailed them privately saying like, thank you for everything, and then next thing you know, he publicly started to kind of, he said that he was letting his contract expire, and that he wasn't going to renew it. And then there was something along the lines of like a report coming out saying like Billy Corgan said something about women's wrestling, and then Nick retweeted it and was like, "If you're wondering why I'm leaving this place, this is the reason why." So I think that like the public comment and the public bashing or whatever like was the thing that led to him being suspended. I don't know Nick Aldis's history. I mean, the one thing that I do know about Nick is that there was reports of him possibly going to WWE at one point in time until the rumor is that John Cena didn't want him in the company because he didn't see him as a top guy. And so that's a thing. But like this whole thing is just like super messy and super weird because Nick Aldis was the highest paid talent in the company. He was the world's heavyweight champion. Um, he was literally the face of kind of the renaissance of the NWA. A lot of the reasons why they've been able to, be a part of shows like All In and him being able to work with Cody is because of Nick Aldis. And Nick has kind of been the face of the NWA since like their kind of rise or their resurgence. There was a point in time where I was like heavy watching NWA on YouTube, and then they were like, "We're on Fight TV. You have to pay $5 a month," and I was like, "I'm not doing that." But I feel like Nick Aldis was a big part of like reshaping their public image. Um, so I don't know what to make of this. Like suspending a superstar because you don't like the way that they're talking about your company when they're not going to be with your company for much longer is just like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like I don't just let him do his thing and then just see him on his way out. What I've done what Nick Aldis did and like publicly bash the company? No, because like at the end of the day, like if I'm the face of your company and I'm helping out with your booking, like if I say something bad about the company, isn't that a reflection on me? But I don't think that it should be. I think that Billy is doing something petty by like suspending him because it kind of takes him out of the position where he can kind of get the farewell that I feel like he deserves.
I don't know. I feel like if I ran a company, I'd rather you just talk shit when you're gone, like when you're gone, gone. I feel like doing it
Yeah,
on the way out is just not. It's a little bit classless,
it is. I think
because
so.
we at the end of the day still gave you a job, and I'm not sure what all went down. If he just wasn't happy about his booking, was he not happy he didn't get a certain run? I don't know what the specifications are, but I do feel like when it comes to wrestling in general, it doesn't make you look good and doesn't make the like it's not a good reflection for the company if someone is popping off at the mouth about their mistreatment or their experience. Like they're entitled to talk about their experience, but they should do it again when they're gone and they're out. Now, yeah, you're right. It does make him look worse as opposed to the NWA. I don't think they're entirely. I think that they shouldn't have suspended him. I think they did. They definitely did that out of sheer pettiness. But I also don't
Yeah,
blame them. And as far as Nick goes, I mean, good luck trying to get signed because no one wants to sign someone that's not going to represent their company accordingly.
right.
Like no one, you have if you have all these issues. I mean, take it to that take it up to the company. What is the internet going to do about it? Or the podcast or wherever the heck whatever platform you're using, what is that going to do for you outside make you look like you're difficult to work with? And that if you
Mm,
don't get what you want, well, this person is just going to spread, you know, false or just, improper propaganda about your company. I just don't think he's helping himself and definitely not helping Mickey James because poor thing. Poor
right.
thing. Like, no, she's the star in that couple, and I
Yeah,
know she just wrestles at this point because for the hell of it, because she really could be anywhere she wants to be, and she just has this embarrassing, cringy husband that's always here whining when he doesn't get what he wants. You know what I mean? I kind of feel bad that she's getting backlash from it, and because it's like, what do you expect her to really do? You know what I mean?
right.
She's vocal, she's very vocal, but it's different when she's vocal because it's coming from someone that has experience. You know what I mean? We've seen her do it all. It's one thing when she talks her shit because it's just like she earned her stripes. Not
Right.
so much sure about this individual here. It's just if you haven't made it yet, you kind of have to just shut up and keep it pushing
He
until you have,
he
and then
Nick
you could gain those privileges.
Nick has
But
made it in a lot of different promotions like Impact and now with NWA he's been like the world's champion and he's been very very he's been held in a very, very high regard because of the type of professional he is and the way that he carries himself. I think that part of the reason why we're seeing these issues at, would I talk down on a company that, I'm leaving? No. But that's his prerogative, that's his choice. Um, but I don't think that it's a matter of like Nick Aldis not making it. I feel like he's a very reputable name in pro wrestling, and he's one of those guys that never got like the push that he deserved. But I honestly feel like there's more to the story than what is being led on. Like, yeah, he's bashing the company. Yes, his contract is expiring, but if somebody is willing to work with you for that amount of time and is willing to be like the head of the company, now all of a sudden this is kind of ensuing, I feel like there's a little bit more. You know what I mean? That
Perhaps.
the perhaps because I don't know. It's just I feel like it's a very, very weird, messy situation, and I feel like we don't have enough info about it. But
Well,
oh well.
hopefully
But
we
you
can
know who
revisit
we
this when there's more information. 'Cause I feel bad commenting on him because I don't like. I do feel like you said, there's more to this.
right. It's just a lot. It's just a lot going on. But you know who we do know about? Maxwell
Wow.
Jacob Freeman.